Hand and Lord Protector of the realm, Unwin Peake, almost overnight replaced most of the key people within the Red Keep, from the Master-at-Arms to the Queen's handmaids. None of these sudden changes pleased the young King Aegon III. His Grace was especially unhappy with the new Kingsguard, none of which were men of his own choosing. He neither had much of a like for them, nor trusted the two new men, and had far from forgotten the presence and actions of Sir Marsden Waters at his mother Rhaenyra's death. King Aegon also misliked the Hand's fingers, his personal guard even more, if that is possible, especially their brash and foul-mouthed commander Tissario the Tiger. That mislike soon turned into hatred when a Volantine slew Sir Robert Massey, one of the young knights that Aegon had wished to name to his Kingsguard. In a quarrel over a horse both men wished to buy, Aegon soon developed a strong disdain for his new Master-at-Arms as well. Sir Garth Long was a skilled swordsman but a very stern taskmaster, renowned at Starpike for his harshness towards the boys in his instruction. Those who did not meet his exacting standards were made to go for days without sleep, doused in tubs of ice water, had their heads shaved, and were often beaten. None of these punishments were available to Sir Garth in his new position, given Aegon was his king. King Aegon was a sullen student who displayed little interest in swordplay or the arts of war. Whenever Sir Garth spoke to him too loudly or too harshly, the king would simply throw down his sword and shield and walk away. Looking back at this with hindsight, Aegon's mislike for martial pursuits is not surprising given his deep-rooted trauma that he suffered during the Dance of the Dragons. Aegon seemed to have only one companion he cared about, Gaemon Palehair, the rumoured bastard son of King Aegon II, now his 6-year-old cupbearer and food taster. He not only shared all of the king's meals, but often accompanied him to the yard as well. This, Sir Garth did not fail to note. As a bastard born of a whore, Gaemon counted little in the court, even if Aegon II was in fact his father, as claimed. So when Sir Garth asked Lord Peake to make the lad the king's new whipping boy, the Hand was pleased to do so. Thereafter, any misbehaviour, laziness, or unwillingness to train on King Aegon's part resulted in punishment for his friend. Gaemon's blood and Gaemon's tears reached the king, as none of Garth Long's words ever had, and his Grace's improvements were soon marked by every man who watched him in the castle yard. The king's dislike for his teacher only deepened. Let us now turn our attention to Gaemon Palehair for a brief moment and assess if his father really was the second Aegon. The boy was the son of a prostitute called Essie, who worked in a brothel that it is claimed by the small folk and whores that King Aegon II would frequent in his youth. While it could be very easy to dismiss the claims that Gaemon was blood of the dragon, he shared the Targaryen look with the silver hair and violet eyes, and some even claimed he shared the look of Aegon II. The fact he was given such a high position, despite the actions of his mother during the Moon of Madness, leads some to speculate that even the lords who were part of the Hour of the Wolf believed in his lineage, thus they allowed Aegon III to spare him. It is said that during the Moon of Madness, when 3 people's kings were raised by the small folk of King's Landing, that Essie and the other whores of the Street of Silk gave away their wares for free to any man who swore themselves to Gaemon. In the end, Gaemon gathered thousands of followers. Whores, mummers, and thieves made up his court atop Visenya's hill, and his supporters in the streets included gangs, sellswords, and drunkards. At his peak, Gaemon's mother began calling herself Lady Esselyn. Gaemon would go on to make several edicts. However, being a boy of 4, it is almost certain that these came from his mother and her allies. Oddly and unexpectedly for many during the events, these edicts proved to be very popular among the small folk, while others found Gaemon's edicts outrageous. After the death of Rhaenyra on Dragonstone, Boros Baratheon, the Lord of Storm's End, took King's Landing and the Red Keep. He and his knights rode against Visenya's hill and the 3 kings the small folk had raised. There they found where the court of Gaemon was gathered, and routed the boy's followers. A crying and chained Gaemon, who had only just celebrated his 5th name day 2 days earlier, was taken to the Red Keep, slung over the back of a horse. Behind him his mother Essie. Gaemon would eventually be spared by King Aegon III during one of his first acts as king, though some believed only because the lords allowed it. Gaemon was made a ward of the crown. Essie confessed under torture that the boy's true father had been a silver-haired Lysene oarsman and not Aegon II. However, as has been well proven, confessions under torture are more often than not unreliable. Some maesters in hindsight look back and suggest that this false confession was needed to ensure Gaemon could not become a banner for any remaining Green loyalists who did not seek peace. Regardless, the rumours of Gaemon being the son of Aegon II still persisted among the small folk even today. Essie, Sylvania, and 27 other members of Gaemon's court were hanged from the battlements of the Red Keep. while Aegon ordered any decrees issued by Gaemon to be publicly burned. Aegon II's bastard son or not, the 6-year-old Gaemon Palehair became King Aegon III's constant companion and shadow, and his only friend